Hi there, welcome back to the channel and thanks for joining me on this video. And today I want to talk about high quality items that I feel are high quality items and they're worth the spend if you have to go down that route. So let's get into it. So what are these things I'd be willing to pay more for? Well, the first one is an upgraded plane seat. So if you travel a lot, you'll know yourself. Instead of sitting in kind of coach or standard, depending where you are in the world, and squeezed in there, no real shoulder movement. It's quite uncomfortable. It's not nice if you're traveling long distance. It's good to upgrade that plane seat. It's probably not going to cost you that much. You're going to get a bit leg space, a bit kind of room to move your arms, and generally a much more comfortable experience. The seat on these upgraded seats, especially on long distance flights, are definitely worth it. Sometimes you'll get complimentary beverages. They just make the travel experience much better. You'll maybe get a TV monitor which you'll have a selection of videos to watch if you've got children. Keeps them entertained, so that's a good one for upgrading on. The next one, again associated with flights, is direct flights or maybe one or two, sometimes three stopovers. I've done both because sometimes you don't even have a choice. You have to stop in maybe at Amsterdam, when I was younger, if I was going maybe snowboarding. But I always looked for the direct flights. And if you could get it, you went for it. Having to spend X amount of hours in an airport before the next plane was ready to go, it just added to the day. You were just completely exhausted. So it's definitely worth spending that wee bit extra money for that direct flight and getting to your accommodation and getting that holiday started quicker than ever, instead of just spending in airports. And same coming back, just getting home as quickly as possible and getting back to your own bed. And that takes me on to the third thing, is mattresses. There's two things my dad told me you'll spend your life in, and that's a mattress and a pair of shoes, and both you've got to spend money on. You can't have a cheap mattress, it will wreck your back. It's got to be a good supported mattress that'll support your spinal alignment, support your neck, and give you a good night's rest. I can't stress enough how important a good night's sleep is. Wherever you are in your life, whatever your age you are, profession, a good night's sleep is really important for you, and you need to look after your health and your body. You can get so many different mattresses now. They come in rolled up in boxes. You open them and almost like poof, open up and you've got a mattress there. Wasn't the case with our one. It was kind of fixed shape in a way, kind of traditional. It's a really heavy mattress, it's really deep. We have had it for I think 9 years, which I think is kind of over what they talk about in terms of keeping a mattress, but it's still offering us really good support. It's really comfortable. We got it from the Smeaton brothers a long time ago, and it's one of the best mattresses I've slept in. It's really good, and I would easily buy another mattress from them. But a mattress is not something just to buy online. I think you have to go to the shop, you've got to lie on it, test it. Don't get pushed by the salesman. Take your time and choose that mattress correctly. Lie down there for as long as you want and just test it. Make sure it's supporting your back correctly. It feels right. I know it's difficult. You probably got all your clothes on, but you're going to be in that bed every night for at least 6 hours. It has to work for you. Another one which is in the kind of bed region is, it's maybe not as important to some people, but a good pillow. My wife has one of those ergonomic pillows, and this thing is amazing. Your head is cupped in nicely. It has a support for your neck, and then even when you lie on your side, whether it be left or right, the pillow can take that support and keeps your neck in correct alignment down your spine. So it works very well for her, and she gets a really good sleep. I don't work too well with the pillows. I'm a front liar. I try and lie on my back, but I just snore too much. And that pillow does help a bit, but I still just prefer lying on my front. But definitely a good mattress, and then complement that with a good ergonomic pillow, and you'll have a good healthy sleep. It'll reduce stress, help with blood pressure, and help with a number of different other health benefits with that good sleep. It's very important. And the next one I'd like to talk about is outerwear. I've mentioned in previous videos how I've been into snowboarding and outdoor kind of adventures, and living in Scotland, it's quite a wet country, and if you go outdoors, you're in the middle of the woods or the hills and you get wet, you're miserable, you're going to get cold, you could put your health at risk as well in a worst case scenario. And I've been out in all weather, I've got cold to the core and had to come home and have hot showers and to try and warm up. But anyway, you want to have good quality outerwear. Yes, the better quality outerwear will cost more. You'll maybe get something with Gore-Tex in it, that's very breathable, 100% waterproof, but it will keep you dry. Same, you get that material in trousers and footwear, right across actually the clothing range. And so it's worth spending money on a good jacket, depending on the time of year. You would buy that jacket to accommodate the weather. But I will base my experience on Scotland, and it's mostly raining there, so you'd have a good waterproof jacket. I've only ever bought Arc'teryx for my outdoor pursuits. I found their stuff to be some of the best. And what I liked about Arc'teryx, it's maybe not the case now with all their jackets, but they used to be made in Canada, and that was quite important to me. Buying a jacket that's made in China, it just used to irritate me. I'm not saying everything coming out of China is of poor quality. I have actually bought stuff from China and it's actually been really good quality. I think it just comes down to quality control. But when I used to buy Arc'teryx jackets a long time ago, I've still got them actually. They're 20 years old and I've still got them, which just shows how good they are. These ones are made in Canada, and they're shells, fully waterproof, and they keep all the elements out. They're snowboard designed, so they have the skirt inside, which everybody will know what I mean. It just stops snow coming up, and you can connect that to your salopettes or your trousers. It's also got a kind of like wee kind of neck skirt. It's quite soft material, but when you zip it right up, that soft material you can't even feel it, but the way you describe it is it kind of tightens around your neck and it stops snow going down and getting a chill around the top of your neck, which is not very pleasant. So when you get quality stuff like that, it's all those wee details, I think, that create the higher price tag, but you get with that quality product, and that's really important, and it makes your day outside much more enjoyable. If you're going to go down the cheap route, you might get a kind of cheap rain poncho. You might get one expedition out of it and it'll tear and it's in the bucket, so you have to go buy another one. And you might find by the time you've bought those two, it might have paid for a better quality jacket. So you really do get what you pay for. And you want outdoor clothing to be quite durable, which again comes with the quality brands. Same with the shoes. You want them to be quite comfortable when you're walking or hiking or running, depending on the fitness you're doing or the outdoor expedition or adventure you're participating in. your feet have to be really comfortable in there, and at the same time protected from the elements. You don't want them to get wet, cold, then you just get miserable and you're home before you know it. I've always, like I mentioned, I've got the shell jacket because I prefer to layer up in my clothing instead of having one thick jacket. I've always been like that, just layer it up and then I can peel off the layers depending on my body temperature, maybe store them in my backpack. But if you're going for more kind of the down-filled jackets, again, you want to be looking at quality products. You don't want that down filling to be of a kind of polyester or synthetic, because the real down is much nicer and it's less chemicals around your body. So again, a much better experience for you and will keep you nice and warm. And the next one what you talk about is it's an office chair, a good ergonomic office chair. If you're sitting in the chair for a number of hours like me, you want to have that good kind of support to your spine, follow the curve of the spine. Excuse me, it can be fully adjustable, this chair, up, down. I can move the back. So it works very well for keeping me comfortable while I'm bringing these movies to you. And when you can make all these adjustments to a chair, it helps allowing you to sit in that chair for longer. It's going to promote better health to your body and your back, and that's all quite important. These chairs obviously cost more, but yeah, you can't put a price on your health, so it's good to focus on that and being able to adjust these seats with the height, the seat length, have the lumbar support. It is a game changer. You know, a lot of these cheaper chairs, you just can't do anything with them, and before you know it, you're going to have a sore bum or a sore back. You're just going to be sore after sitting in that chair for so many hours. So it's good to splash out and try and get the best you can afford, and that's much better for you, your state of mind, your back, your posture, and your overall health. Good kitchen knives. There's so much crap out there. You could be, you know, after a couple of cuts, it's blunt and you're sawing away at food, and it's just dangerous. It's not good. You could end up hurting yourself. You just get nowhere. You try and sharpen it, couple of cuts, and you're sawing away again. We've got some really nice knives. We just bought them recently, and the whole knife is like one piece, which is great. So there's no handle to actually come loose and become a hazard. It's all one piece. Some of these cheaper knives, it's a two-part. The screws can come loose, or the rivets, and that can just end up in a recipe for disaster. Now, these knives that we just got, they weren't too expensive, but they seem to be really good quality steel. They're no kind of ridiculous expensive knife at a few £100, but at the same time, they're not budget knives. So they're looking good at the moment. We use them all the time. We've got a range of different sizes, and they cut really well. So, you know, that's really good, and it's safe for using in the kitchen. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, shoes, and you can't go wrong. You have to buy the best pair of shoes you can afford. Don't go for the cheap rubbish. With some supermarket, you're going to end up with very uncomfortable feet. You know, a lot of Western feet are deformed already by this Chinese binding technique where they've pulled the toes in, the shape of the toes. You've got to have a natural kind of footbed. And for a number of years, I had the kind of that shoe, the kind of standard shoe that everybody was buying. I always used to get rubbing on my wee pinky toe. It was horrible. I hated it. You know, with a plaster on there if it was in those shoes for a long time. I've been through all the brands of shoes, just growing up, and same. I've had like not only trainers. I've had like dress shoes, all had the same problem. And then one day I came across a company called Vivo Barefoot, and it was just interesting, and I thought I'll give them a go. They had I think it was a 120-day money back scheme. I thought, oh, that's great. And I liked how their website explained the shoe, and natural materials, recyclable, all that kind of appealed to me. So I thought, right, I'll give them a go. And I bought a pair of the lighter shoes, and I've never looked back, to be honest. I've now got a few pair of shoes from them, depending on the time of year. I can change. So I've got a kind of beach shoe. They're kind of like, don't know how you describe it, but I use them on the beach really. And then I've got shoes through to, or trainers shoes through to winter, and they're the best ever. They follow a more natural pattern at the toe. They let your feet spread out when you plant them. I don't get any rubbing on my wee pinky toes. They're all natural material. They're even recyclable at the end of their life. But I have to say, I use them quite a lot. I wouldn't say I'm too gentle on my shoes, but none of them are failing yet. They're really well made. You know, always in other trainers, the wee area at the front, it would peel away or stuff would become debonded. Everything's actually holding together. Are going to just buy cheap shoes, you're maybe going to get a year out of them, and then you're going to buy another pair of shoes, and then so on. I bought the first pair of Vivo Barefoot. I'm not getting anything from this company, by the way. I'm just telling you my experience of good quality shoes. And you know, I still use them. The tread's worn a bit on the bottom, but they're great. I couldn't complain. And I'll just keep on using them till they fall to bits because they're so comfortable. But I understand for the ladies out there, companies like Vivo Barefoot, they don't do high heels. And I'm no expert in wearing high heels. But I've heard a lot of them are quite uncomfortable. But you've got to buy the best pair of high heels you can afford. So you are as comfortable as you can be in high heels. For the sake or the health of your feet, your legs, your calves, taking as much strain off the joints on your legs when you're walking. It's no different to the men's shoes. You've got to go out and spend as much as you can afford. The next one we'll talk about is hiring professionals. Now, I've got no problem getting my hands dirty, and I will tackle a lot of jobs. However, I think you have to know your limitations, and I've seen some pretty bad work over the time, and just get the professional in. You have to spend it because they know what they're doing. They will probably get it done quicker for you, less stress, and if it's related to the house, it'll get your house back up and running a lot quicker. And even if something fails, you know you've got somebody to come back to that they can rectify it. You don't want to get some person that like jack of all trades and maybe rolls up in the beat up the van or truck, and because you're just going to end up with problems there. You've got to look for good reviews, although reviews can be faked now very well, or maybe word of mouth. That certainly works very well. But you know, again, my dad just say, if you want a job done, ask a busy man, and it's true, because there's a reason they're busy. It's because they provide a good service. In my previous line of work, I used to be booked up 9 months ahead, and other people that are in trades, you know, they were usually booked up 9 to 12 months, sometimes even longer, and that's a good thing. That's what you want to see, them booked up for that kind of period. I know it's maybe an inconvenience if it's an emergency, that's quite different. But if the job can wait, it's good to find people like that, you know, plan ahead, get booked in, and then you'll get your job done to a really high standard. So the next one is moving house, and we're talking about neighbourhoods or developments, depending where you are in the world. And it's definitely worth trying to stretch the budget a bit more and get that better neighbourhood, not such a kind of rundown or maybe dodgy or questionable neighbourhood. You know, they always say location, 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 and it's definitely true. You can fix up all the problems in your house over time, but you can't pick up that house and move it out of the neighbourhood if you don't like it or don't like the neighbours. So it's definitely worth spending a wee bit extra money doing your research and getting that neighbourhood that works for you. So they always talk of location, location, location. You can't pick that house up and move it to a new neighbourhood if it's not working for you. And yeah, you can fix up all the problems in a house over time, but you can't fix that neighbourhood if it's broken or shady. There's a good chance it's always going to be like that. You can have all the deadbolt locks, security cameras, but if you have to step out of that house onto the street in a shady neighbourhood, it's not going to work at all for you. If you're a young family with children and then you're looking for a neighbourhood with good schools, if you're a couple, you're maybe, or like young or old, you're looking at a neighbourhood with people of similar age and amenities which are nearby. It's not in the middle of nowhere. So it really depends on your lifestyle, where your family's at, and where you're at. But you should always be willing to pay a little bit extra to try and tick as many boxes as possible. Finally, a good pet sitter is worth spending the extra money on. Putting your animals into kind of homes or kennels it's not great, and I think emotionally it can do a lot of damage to the animal. And I'm not having a dig at kennels or catteries or whatever else you call places out there, but you're taking your pet and putting it into an alien environment, away from its home, away from you. These creatures aren't stupid. They know what's going on. So I think you can do a lot of emotional damage to a pet. So having a pet sitter come in, and you can pay them to look after your dog or your cat or whatever you have. They can use your accommodation, and it works quite well. The dog doesn't become stressed or emotionally upset, or the cat even. And if you can find a good pet sitter that comes with a lot of good reviews, is trustworthy, you can obviously leave this person in your home with your animal or animals. I think it's definitely worth the spend, but it depends where you are in the world. I think in the UK and America, there's a lot more of that going on. Everybody kind of views animals different, and wherever you are in the world. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video today, and tell me about some of your areas where you spend a wee bit extra on, or do you have a similar list to what I've just said? If you leave them in the comment and let me know, and it'd be good to speak about it. Well, thanks for your time, and I'll speak to you in the next video. Bye.